Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Cuban Assassin Podcast. I'm your host, Richie Acevedo, also known as the Cuban Assassin. Last time on the Cuban Assassin Podcast, we left off with my dad, Angel Acevedo, also the Cuban Assassin, and my mother, Yvonne Tompkins, has separated and divorced. My mom had my sister Cindy and myself with her, and she needed to get other jobs, and she was trying to find jobs like at Hilltop Nursing Home, and then she came to Oak Hill Taxi, Morton's Oak Hill Taxi, and she would meet a guy there, and this is where Donald J. Dempsey came into the picture. Now, my mom was trying to work and trying to support herself along with my sister Cindy and myself, and Donald J. Dempsey also helped. And my mom and her sister, our Aunt Esther, had talked about sending my sister Cindy and myself for a 2-week church camp. And this is where my Bigfoot experience came. This is where my Bigfoot encounter came into play. While my sister Cindy and I was at a church camp, and I do believe it was in Hinton, West Virginia, that there, me and my bunkmate, Danny, would have a Bigfoot encounter. Here's a reenactment I did for my Cuban Assassins docu-film. Kind of gives an example of how the experience happened.
Danny, don't do that.
I'm not doing anything.
Danny, stop doing that.
I'm not doing anything.
Danny, stop doing
I
that.
swear I'm not doing anything.
Let's just go to the restroom. Danny, stop trying to scare me.
I'm not.
Danny, stop trying to scare
I'm
me.
not.
Danny, stop trying to scare me.
I'm not doing anything. Bear!
Now that's just a reenactment of how my experience went, to kind of summarize it really quick. And you can see that reenactment in my Cuban Assassins docu-film, which is on my Rumble channel and my YouTube channel. Let's take a look at a match with my dad against Jake the Snake Roberts.
To culture vultures, here it is, Hour of Charm, something we call Stampede Wrestling, and I gotta tell you something. Besides telling you it's great to have you with us, we've got a surprise. Do you see who I see? I see Jake Roberts. Unless my eyes are doing tricks with me, and I'll tell you why. Jake Roberts was not scheduled to fight tonight. However, John Foley appealed to the National Wrestling Alliance that they should rule against Mr. Roberts, that they should take away his title because he had not been fighting. And okay, we're going to see the action. Of course, everybody taking a very close look right now at Jake Roberts to see about his mobility. A severely, badly injured knee, right knee, and he appears to be moving very well. Jake Roberts, that man from Louisiana, certainly has captured the imagination of the fans. He's been missed in the last 3 weeks. Well, the Cuban goes after him with a series of elbow smashes off the ropes. Look out now. Whoops. Watch this. Nelly. Oh, yeah. Well, so far, he's looking very good. I might explain, with all of this business of him not wrestling, a doctor has said he should not wrestle for 2 more weeks to allow the knee to completely heal. That knee was injured by Big Daddy Ritter. And of course, subsequently, despite the knee injury, he took the title away from Ritter, who just walked out of this place and hasn't been seen since. Wayne Hart is the referee. It's a one-fall affair with a 20-minute time limit. Jake Roberts and the Cuban Assassin. Boy, this guy Roberts has wrestled up a storm here. A lot of people, a lot of people feel that aided and abetted by his quick sleeper, that he's a prime contender for the world title. I understand, I have not had it verified as yet, that Big Daddy Ritter is coming back next week. I think he has the feeling he's going to be presented with a belt. That John Foley, well, the Assassin, oh no, the Assassin is going after that leg. Can he withstand it? That's the question now. Can he take it? That's the question. I told you earlier it was his right leg. It's his left. I'd forgotten, to be honest. It's his left, and that's what the Cuban is going after. He's not interested in anything else. Jake Roberts, that man from Louisiana, against the Cuban Assassin. And the Assassin is doing exactly what John Foley wants him to do. Go after the injured leg. Well, there's no question about it. That is precisely what everybody will go after. But I am very surprised to see Jake in here. The Assassin was to have been fighting Tom Stanton. And here's Jake Roberts fighting the Assassin. We're nearing the 5-minute mark. Somebody's got a bugle in here. I wish he'd blow his nose instead. Oh my goodness, that's piercing. Okay, we've gone 5 minutes. This is one fall with a 20-minute time limit. 20-minute time limit. Jake Roberts and the Cuban Assassin. Crowd beginning to chant, "Go, Jake, go." Jake sends him flying. Jake gets up. Gets him into the headlock. Oh, look at him. Lefts and rights pouring them in there. Going against his tormentor. Up those ropes. Look out. Beautiful. Jake Roberts looking strong. Look out. Sleeper. He's got the sleeper. I think it's a quick job. That quick sleeper of his does it. It's all over. And how about that? Jake.
Now, as my dad was still continuing to wrestle all over the world, anywhere from Puerto Rico to Japan and Canada, my mom was back home doing everything she can to make any type of money to take care of my sister Cindy and myself, because she tried to do everything she could to make sure that we had everything that we needed. And Mom was really a loving mom to us, and she sacrificed a lot along with the help with DJ coming into the picture. And the thing about DJ is not only was he a good man, but he was a big wrestling fan. And at the time, WAY TV4 Saturday Night Wrestling wasn't on because they went away in 1977, but they had ICW in its place on WYTV4. ICW, International Championship Wrestling, were the Poffos promotion that aired in place of Saturday Night Wrestling on WYTV4. It was Angelo Poffo under the mask as the Miser, along with his sons, Leaping Lanny Poffo. And Leaping Lanny Poffo would have a feud with his own brother, which was none other than the Macho Man Randy Savage. And one thing I didn't know is that the Poffos were really good friends with my dad. I will find out about it later on down the road as the years would come. But let's take a look at a match with Dad teaming up with Leo Burke.
Wrestling continues, and here come the challengers, much to the delight of the studio audience on hand. And now the champions make their way into the ring. And let us first introduce the champions from parts unknown, weighing in at 272 pounds, the Spoiler. And the other half of the International Tag Team Champions from Kiev in the Soviet Union, weighing 270 pounds, Nikita Kalmykov. In the corner to my right, the challengers from Dorchester, New Brunswick, weighing 235 pounds, Leo Burke. And from Havana, Cuba, weighing in at 244 pounds, the eighth wonder of the world, the Cuban Assassin. Well, this is what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. The International Tag Team Championship belts are on the line. And to start things off, it's the Spoiler against Leo Burke. We're going to be watching this match very closely, with so much at stake. And here you see at the center of the ring, Burke and the Spoiler. And now up and over goes the Spoiler. Another arm drag, and the Spoiler is having his problems here against Leo Burke. We're joined at the interview table by the European heavyweight wrestling champion.
As you can see, tell the European champion, Mr. Maxwell. I noticed that my ex-good friend, the Cuban Assassin, his mind was assassinated by Leo Burke. That worm got into his squiggly mind and changed it around. And I understand that Mr. Assassin and Mr. Burke, as you call it here, are quite sick. Well, let me tell you, Mr. Maxwell, sir, it is one thing to be sick, but it is another thing to be smart. And I am as smart as ever. And if I have to go through the Cuban Assassin to get to Mr. Leo Burke, or if I have to go through Mr. Burke to get to the Assassin, it is all the same to me, Mr. Maxwell, sir.
So old friendships hold no water here with Killer Carl Krupp, is that right?
Old friendship, I believe that this Mr. Assassin is a traitor to the cause. That's my neighbor, brother.
And so with those words, Killer Carl Krupp departs and heads back to the dressing room area to plot upcoming strategy.
And meanwhile in the ring, the Cuban assassin holds the upper hand momentarily over the spoiler. Now the spoiler finding out that he's getting into the wrong corner. Leo Burke down hard as Burke and the Cuban assassin start working over that left leg. Oh, my! That's not what the spoiler intended. His left leg really being worked over here by Leo Burke. And before Leo, the Cuban assassin. Now Nikita Kalmykov coming in to interfere, trying to break the hold. Cuban assassin relinquishing the hold, allowing Leo Burke to get back into the action. And Leo Burke continues to apply the pressure. Now the spoiler has a hold on the rope. Should be enough to break the hold, but he's unable to do so. What with Leo Burke staying on the offensive here. The spoiler, now like a caged animal, has to find his way home. Trying to get out of this mess that he's found himself in against Leo Burke and the Cuban assassin. Burke not allowing the spoilers to go to friendly territory. He's been cutting them off at the pass here. And now another takedown. And the spoiler, I don't think, can believe his predicament here. Leo Burke continues to pound away. The crowd says, yes, do it again, and he does so. An unbelievable amount of pressure and strain being applied to the left leg of the Cuban assassin. Now in comes the Cuban assassin, not allowing the spoiler to go in for the tag with Nikita Kalmykov. So far, the challengers have looked most impressive. Spoiler finally getting a break in the action, and he can't seem to escape. The Cuban assassin, again, going for the takedown. And you'll notice the way the entire attack strategy is focused on the left leg right now of the spoiler. It must be something that Leo Burke and the Cuban assassin discussed prior to the match. And the strategy seems to be working right now because the spoiler has been, for the most part, rendered ineffective. He is helpless, but with no mobility whatsoever. And Leo Burke adding another shot for good measure. Once again enjoys the upper hand with the spoiler down on the canvas. I don't recall any match where the spoiler has been out-wrestled as he has in this particular encounter. A tag, and here comes the Cuban assassin. And again, he'll work on the left leg. Look at this. If the spoiler isn't careful, he could be looking at some serious damage to the ligaments, the cartilage, to the knees, what have you. Another tag, and in comes Leo Burke. And Burke again kicks away at the left leg. Burke was trying to get the spoiler into the figure 4 leg lock, it appeared. And now the spoiler finally hobbles over and completes the tag against Nikita Kalmykov. Kalmykov pounding away now on Leo Burke. He has Burke all wrapped up in the corner. And into the turnbuckle. Face first goes Leo Burke. Kalmykov just stomping away. Not much finesse, but it's proving to be very effective. 1, 2, before Burke is able to kick out. Nikita Kalmykov trying his best to save those international tag team belts for he and the spoiler. Just the count of 2. And now a front headlock being applied by Kalmykov as the crowd. The crowd's starting to really come to life here. Encouraging Leo Burke and the Cuban Assassin. Spoiler somewhat upset with the way the crowd has reacted. And now in the center of the ring, it's Kalmykov holding Burke down. Burke trying to get to his feet. He'll do his best here to break the hold. He's come this far. Kalmykov, a specimen of pure physical strength, has to resort to the hair pulling in an effort to keep Burke from breaking the hold. The crowd starting to chant and point out to referee Ron Gauguin that the spoiler is carrying a concealed weapon, a foreign object, and there you see the closed right fist of the spoiler. He may very well be holding a foreign object. And he's employing it now against Leo Burke. Leo Burke really in a tremendous amount of pain after getting that right hand off the ropes from the spoiler. The spoiler applying a lot of pressure now to the upper right shoulder of Leo Burke. Let's see if Burke can break the hold, and he does so. Burke, though, can't seem to get out of difficulty, what with Nikita Kalmykov interfering. Now the spoiler with several right hands regains the upper hand against Leo Burke. Into the turnbuckle. And Burke comes off and is greeted right away with an elbow smash. And now the Cuban Assassin comes to his partner's aid by giving Kalmykov, or rather the spoiler, a boot to break the hold. Leo Burke and the spoiler, the international belts, are on the line. A tag, and in comes Kalmykov, and here comes the Cuban Assassin. The Cuban Assassin really wound up now. Right hands all over the place. A body slam. And another. As the Cuban Assassin takes two heads and bangs them together. The Cuban Assassin. He's on the warpath right now, ladies and gentlemen. And he's looking to apply the Boston Crab before the spoiler is able to interfere in time. and save his partner from certain defeat. And now, the sleeper being applied by Leo Burke. And again, the spoiler is able to break it up. Now all four wrestlers are in the ring. And a reversal with Kalmikov. And the spoiler, 1, 2, 3. It's all over. It's all over. The International Tag Team Championship belts are now the property of Leo Burke and the Cuban Assassin. And you can see the celebration as Leo Burke and the Cuban Assassin hold the belt high above their heads. Burke had Kalmikov wrapped up in the small package. Referee Ron Gauguin there for the count of 3.
Now, one day my dad called to check on my sister Cindy and myself. And while my dad was on the phone talking to my sister Cindy heard a little girl's voice or a little girl sound in the background and asked Dad, "Who was that?" And Dad told her, and we found out that we had a sister. Next time on the Cuban Assassin podcast, we'll be talking more about when my sister Cindy and I found out that we had another sister and a half brother, and we'll talk more about DJ coming into the picture. The Cuban Assassin podcast is produced, written, edited, and directed by me, Richie Acevedo, at Mountain Man Productions. Special thanks goes to Ben Hilton for the opening and closing demographics of today's podcast. Special thanks goes to the Hart Brothers University, as well as Rene Dupree and the Gauguin family for the wrestling footage on today's podcast. Special thanks goes to my mom for all the family photo pics, which my mom Yvonne Dempsey, who had passed away. And special thanks goes to the Poffos for all the photos of their family on today's podcast. You can reach me at mountainmanproductions@outlook.com, which is capital M for mountain, capital N for man, capital P for productions, outlook.com, or you can leave a comment. And we'll see you next time on the Cuban Assassin podcast.